Welcome to Command Center. I'm Bram Weinstein in for Julie Donaldson. 1 week away from the start of training camp. Here we go. Things are heating up at the park. We're going to deep dive into the trenches and examine how the defensive line can bounce back heading into the new season. Plus, find out which league analyst has Washington winning the NFC East as we pick our winners from the division. And fresh off his new contract, we sit down Terry McLaurin with former Washington receiver, the legend, Gary Clark. And we continue to get to know the Commanders' first-round draft pick as Jahan Dotson shares some interesting facts about himself off the field. Hello and welcome into Command Center with Rick Doc Walker, Logan Paulsen. I'm Bram Weinstein. Here we go. 1 week till the start of training camp. Can you believe it?
I'm super excited for it. It's just nice to be talking about actual football and not all this speculating about what ifs and all that stuff.
I can't believe it. We're actually going to see them maybe in pads, and maybe have a little bit of contact.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, check the CBA on that. I'm not sure about that. All right, one of the areas that's drawing a lot of attention and one of the groups that we want to see wearing those pads heading into training camp is the performance of the defensive unit. After a less than impressive showing in 2021, the Commanders will look to bounce back to form that had them ranked as one of the top units in the league in 2020. Head coach Ron Rivera believes the return to success goes through Washington's defensive front.
It is going to be anchored by our two defensive tackles. I think Duran and Jonathan give us two solid, stout guys. Adding Phil to the mix is a guy, even though he's a rookie, he's going to play a lot. We got to find who that fourth guy is going to be. Defensive end-wise, we know exactly what we got with Montez. We're not quite sure when we'll get Chase back. Obviously, hopefully at the beginning of camp or sometime in there, we will get him back. But you look at when James Smith-Williams and what Casey Toohill bring, and then you look at the young guys with BK and Shaka, and you say, you know, that's a good young group. But a little bit of insurance. We brought in Efe Obada, who we know we had in Carolina, who can play the three technique as well as the defensive end position for us. And it's a pretty good group of guys.
So big things expected from the defensive line here in Washington, and Pro Football Focus seems to agree with that. They have the Commanders' defensive line second overall in their positional rankings, right behind the defending champion Los Angeles Rams. A lot of that, of course, is going to depend on a healthy return of both Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So we've been talking about this for a few years. They spent a lot of first-round draft picks on defensive linemen. The depth is going to be challenged here a little bit. Matt Ioannidis not here. Tim Settle not here. We're waiting on Chase Young to come back. What do you think of the unit?
Well, I don't disagree with Ron's kind of thesis there that they have good three interior pieces, and that's a big deal, but you do need that fourth piece. When you look at how successful defensive lines run, they have nice four interchangeable pieces inside. I understand Chase is hurt, but I think you do feel good about James Smith-Williams and what Casey Toohill did last year, at least being competent starters.
I like him a lot. I'll use Shaquille O'Neal's brand, the others. That's what's going to determine this group, because the others have got to perform, and they may have to perform for 4 or 5 weeks consistently, and it's about the unit, so we'll see.
Ron Rivera also said the strength's in the middle. You know, and I thought that was an interesting comment to say that, being that they had a very deep unit in the middle. It's different now. They're relying on a rookie who's going to play a lot in Fedarian Mathis. What do you make of that comment?
So I think you feel good about Fedarian. I think you feel good about what he did during OTAs as that depth rotational piece. Allen and Payne did outstanding when they did participate in OTAs and minicamp. But like I said, you need someone else. You need another part there. You need to keep those guys fresh. And so who is going to step up and fill that fourth role? And that's why, to me, I'm maybe not as positive as Ron, because I do think you need another person there and someone you can count on to play a lot of minutes for you. Like you said, the other person.
I agree. And it's an opportunity of a lifetime. What you hope to come out of camp with is a surprise. Somebody who's hungry. We need a guy with a chip on his shoulder who wants to earn a living in this league. That's what we need. We got enough stars. What we need right now is blue-collar guys who get the job done.
All right, let's get into your lane, which is the big talk. Last year around this time, Chase Young and Montez Sweat were talking about breaking sack records, okay? Obviously, a lot of that discussion's been tempered, and Young's not even healthy to really be practicing at this moment. What do you make of, how about this? What are some realistic expectations for the group now?
I'm really not qualified for that, because I grew up in LA with the fearsome foursome. I played against the Steel Curtain. We went up against Doomsday. So really, I don't listen to anything they say. All I do is wait to see what they do.
I agree. I think that's what ultimately. I think the one thing to be excited about if you're a fan of this team is Montez Sweat.
Oh,
he's had an outstanding offseason period thus far. I think he's kind of poised for a big year. I don't know about Chase. All I want him is to be healthy.
Yeah.
But I think Montez might be on the precipice of something pretty special.
He's frightening. Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I like that.
He's frightening.
Even with all the additions on offense, it's still my belief that this team will go as far as the defense takes them. Is that a fair assessment of this group?
I mean, I think this offense. I think the paradigm is shifted now. I think it's the offense. I think it's as far as Carson Wentz wants to go.
We got some tools now, brother. Yeah,
they do. All right, for Julie's full conversation with head coach Ron Rivera, make sure to tune into our training camp preview special. It's on NBC4 this Saturday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. They're going to tackle all of the top training camp storylines, highlight the players you should watch heading into Washington's special 90th anniversary season. That is Saturday night on NBC. All right, last week, former NFL running back Robert Turbin was on Good Morning Football to discuss his predictions for the NFC East, and despite playing for the Dallas Cowboys during his 8-year career, his pick to win the division might surprise you.
My next hot take, I got the Washington Commanders winning the NFC East.
Holy smokes, I'm about to walk off the set.
I know. Cowboys fans, I know. Philadelphia, I know my Twitter's about to be, it's hot. Okay, but these are Turbo's takes. The Commanders, Carson Wentz, not the greatest quarterback, but certainly an upgrade from everybody else that they've had now. And the key here, Ron Rivera knows how to rebuild a franchise. He did it in Carolina. He's the guy that I trust out of every coach in that division right now.
So Robert Turbin predicting big things for the Commanders here in Ashburn to win the NFC East. We'll see if Doc and Logan think that he's right about that. But let's go through his reasoning first. And let's start at quarterback, which he cited as a big upgrade here in Washington. Doc, who is the best quarterback in the NFC East?
Well, for my money, it's the man that wears number 4 with the star on his head.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Why is that, Doc?
Well, he makes the most. If you make the most money, and of course he's got all the tools and things around him. I think when healthy, all kidding aside, he's demonstrated he's capable of being the best.
Well, Doc, I think you're a pretty smart guy because I also think Dak Prescott is the guy. And I think I almost went. I really wanted to pick Carson Wentz. I really wanted to pick him. I think he's the most talented guy from a physical skill set standpoint. I think Dak has just been a little bit more consistent over the last couple of years. And I think he's very scheme dependent. And so it'll be interesting to see how he does this year with all these receivers leaving. But yeah, I'm going to go with the guy who's been more consistent.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Great point. If I were drafting, I wouldn't draft him first over the other guy.
Smart guy.
If winning matters most, go look at Wentz's record in Philadelphia against the NFC East. You may change your mind about that.
Brand,
all right, Logan.
Shots.
Let's start with the coach of the NFC East. Who is the best coach in the NFC East, Logan?
Yeah, I'm a little ageist. I'm going to go with Nick Sirianni here, and the big reason is because of what he did last year. He's a pass-first type of guy in terms of what he wants to do offensively, but then he spoke to his quarterback skill set, and they totally revamped their offense, speaking to what he does well, and I think that takes a good coach to identify what your player needs and change what you do. Humble yourself to it and get that done. I almost went with Ron just because he is the man, the myth, the legend, but I have a little age bias. I'm going with the young buck.
And I didn't mind that. I almost did, but I had to go with Ron because Ron's been to a Super Bowl.
Yep, that's right.
Winning in a division your first time out is very impressive. But I think overall, I think the division should be Ron Rivera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Logan, they ran an unusual offense in Philadelphia. You think they can run that back? You think Sirianni can get away with it again this year?
What I think is going to happen is that Jalen Hurts is going to mature a little bit, become a little bit more dynamic as a passer, and they won't need to rely on that quite as much. But yes, that is a big if, and I'm glad you brought that up.
The league will catch up to you. You know that. You can come out here and have a freshman year, brother. You got to prove it before you get my vote.
But he's a different style runner, man. He can maybe do that 2 years in a row. Thicker body type.
His coach. No, I like Hurts. He's a winner.
Yeah.
But again, this league will adjust to you.
I see. I got you.
So Robert Turbin goes on NFL Network, proclaims the Commanders are going to win the division. We turn to our experts on Command Center. They pick nothing that's in the building that would lead them to believe they're going to. So, what do you got, Doc? Are the Commanders winning the division this year?
Well, that's quite possible, but I think in Philadelphia, when I look at in terms of their defense, overall, more studs that have proven it. This is not a what-if scenario. This is look at me based on what I've done.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm going to go with Philadelphia too. And again, it's the defense and it's also the offensive line. And they've added some dynamic skill players on the outside, which is what you need to support your young quarterback and Jalen Hurts. It's so close between these three teams here. Very, very close. A razor's edge. Any amount of variance, one of these other teams could be it. But right now, based on past performance, what they did in the offseason, I think Philadelphia's got to be the team.
All right, let me ask you about the Giants then just for a moment, because a couple of years ago, Ron Rivera showed up here, first year. No one expected the Commanders to win the division. they did. Are you dismissing them as even a candidate to make a run for the division this year?
I mean, Doc, obviously the coaching is a huge impact on the league, on the team, right? We just talked about Nick Sirianni's impact on the Philadelphia Eagles. But with the New York Giants, I'm not sure, Bram. I just think their roster's not quite where it needs to be yet. I think he's a great coach. He can get them where they need to go. But a little bit of growing in from a roster standpoint, and I think that's the bigger variable there for them, not coaching necessarily.
When the G-men are really good, they're good because of their interiors.
Yeah.
They control the line of scrimmage. They can't say that now.
Yeah.
They got to show me. Is it possible? Of course it is. Do I think it'll happen? No.
And we'll see. I think the pundits are going to be mixed on all of this. Dallas, Philadelphia, Washington. I think you'll hear a lot of mixed opinions going into the season. Coming up, rookie wide receiver Jahan Dotson has been turning heads with his impeccable play on the field, but some of his tastes off the field might leave you just as surprised. And fresh off his contract extension, we sit Terry McLaurin down with the only player in franchise history with more receiving yards to start their career in Washington. You do not want to miss this.
This is Terry McLaurin, and you're watching Command Center. Oh man, feels good to be back again.
Come on, got the burgundy seats.
So much, I appreciate it. I'm excited to get back to work. Time to make some more.
Art Monk, Charlie Taylor, Bobby Mitchell, 3 players who wore the burgundy and gold that ended up in Canton in the Hall of Fame. But what if I told you none of them in the first 3 seasons of their career statistically matched what Terry McLaurin has done in the first 3 years of his career? McLaurin is either first or second on the franchise's all-time list in most receiving statistical categories. The guy who is ahead of him sat down with McLaurin for an unforgettable interview.
It's a pleasure to meet you, man. Tell me a little bit about today and what you're feeling.
First of all, it's great just to be sitting with you and we're talking, and you're one of the great receivers that's played in this franchise. So just to be mentioned in the conversations with you is humbling for me. So I appreciate that. And this is a really exciting day. You know what I mean? Like, coming from a player, you know how hard it is to get to this moment. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think just when you first get drafted, that's the end all be all, and it's a great day, but that's when the real work starts. And you know, to be drafted to this organization and to be able to become a leader early in my career, and to be able to be productive and things like that, you know, it's a testament to the hard work and that I've been able to put in and the support that I've had. So to be able to share this with my family is just, it brings it all together. You know what I mean? It makes those days where you don't necessarily know sometimes, or you know, you kind of have those setbacks and you just keep grinding through it. You know what I mean? You keep praying through it, you keep working through it, and you lean on your support system. And to finally be at this moment, you know, it's kind of like an exhale to a certain degree. But you know, my mindset is kind of like, okay, now that this has happened, I'm just ready to get back to work and show that I can improve my game and get us to where we need to be as a team. Because you know, when you were playing, there's so many great things that you guys were doing amongst this organization, and set the table for where we're at today. And I know we have a good group of guys in that locker room that really want to get this organization back to where it belongs.
Dude, you are on point. I loved you. I loved you before I met you. Now I love you even more. So to understand the history of the game, the history of the franchise, to know who came before.
Right.
Quick thing, did you know this though? None of our Hall of Famers, and we got some great Hall of Famers, Art Monk, Charlie Taylor, Bobby Mitchell, 3 of the best I've ever seen in this franchise. None of them put up the numbers in their first 3 years that you put up.
Oh, wow.
So that only tells me where your career is going. Nobody put up those numbers but you. How do you feel about being in that category of player in this franchise?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you play the game. You know, you want to be one of the best to ever do it when you hang up your cleats. And I I think, even more what motivates me is just I want to win one of those that you got on your finger. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely. And I think through those team accolades, you get the individual success. And, just to be in those guys you see, around the Ring of Honor in the stadium, and you want to be a part of those guys one day. And I'm fortunate to have some early success in my career, but I still take that day one mindset when this camp starts at the end of this month, where I got to earn my spot again. I'm that kid that's still hungry and feel like I need more to do. And I genuinely believe that. I just don't say that. So I'm excited to get back to work and try to continue to earn, the respect of you and people around the league and my teammates and my coaches each and every day. So hopefully one day when it's all said and done, then I can be sitting here with another young player saying what you're saying to me.
Here's a deeper dive into the numbers between Terry McLaurin and the legendary Gary Clark through their first 3 seasons in Washington. Terry's got the edge in receptions, 20 more than Gary Clark, but the former JMU alum has the edge in receiving yards and touchdowns. No other player in franchise history have recorded over 3,000 combined receiving yards in their first 3 seasons. Back here with Logan Paulsen and Doc Walker. Terry's had an incredible start to his career, gets the contract extension he deserved, and now there's some pressure on it. What kind of expectations do you have for him this year?
I don't know if there's any pressure for a guy like Terry. He's just been performing at such a high level for such a long time. I think now his pay is reflective of his play. And I think that's exactly what you wanted to get out of this deal. I think both parties should be happy, and I'm excited for Terry. I don't think he needs to press. I don't think he needs to do anything different. He just needs to be an outstanding leader, which he's done, and be an outstanding performer, which he's also done.
Totally agree. It's amazing. I'm still laughing the fact that there's a guy on the screen I actually played with Gary. That's what blows my mind, And Gary, like Terry, highly productive. He could do everything on teams. Gary could do the same. This guy's character is what, if you're building a program, he's your poster boy. And so luckily, he's here, and I'm looking forward to great things.
I think the hope, too, is with some consistent quarterback play. That's not happened here in McLaurin's career to this point, that maybe it takes off even further.
I think, that is the hope, right? With Carson Wentz, you can take advantage of Terry's deep speed. You could make him kind of a more dynamic weapon, a guy that now not only has a good quarterback, but other weapons around him to support him. Since I've been covering the team, that has not been a thing, right? So now it's nice to see what Terry can be, the final form of Terry McLaurin. Really looking forward to seeing it.
One final thought on him too. He put out a heartfelt letter to the fans after signing. There's something about being here, being a leader, that seems to matter to him as well.
It's the character. Same thing at Ohio State. He's a special teams guy. So was Gary. So was Art Monk. Art Monk was on teams. Our era, everybody was on teams. This guy's a guy you want to represent your program. And he's been a contortionist because of where he's had to go get the ball. Now he can actually run straight and go catch it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, we hope. All right, he has set some personal goals as he prepares for his 4th season, but none of them are as important as the team winning. And for more on the Washington wideout, head over to commanders.com to check out staff writer Zach Selby's latest story to see how Terry McLaurin is focusing on team goals over individual success. And still ahead here, as first-round draft pick Jahan Dotson prepares for his first training camp in the NFL. We get a chance to see more of his personality in a game of this or that. Welcome back to Command Center. While we count down the days until the players take the field for training camp on July 27th, the players are still hard at work preparing for the upcoming season. In fact, a group of the offensive skill players got together for a workout together and shared these photos online. One of them included the first-round draft pick, Jahan Dotson, who was kind enough to show us a little more of his personality in a segment called This or That.
Burgundy or gold? Gold. Instagram or Twitter? I like pictures, so Instagram. Kickball or dodgeball? Definitely love pegging people dodgeball. Batman or Spider-Man? Big Spider-Man. Office or Parks and Rec? Parks and Rec. Tea or coffee? Coffee. Ross, Chandler, or Joey? Definitely Ross. Pet monkey or llama? Pet monkey. Sweet or sour? Sweet. Quads or duos? Definitely quads. Chess or checkers? Checkers. City or country? This one's tough. Country. Fly or be invisible? Fly. TV show or movie? Movie. Mountains or beach? Mountains. Lions or tigers? Lions. Music or podcast? Music. Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch? Captain Crunch. Basketball or baseball? Unpopular opinion, baseball. Vanilla or chocolate? Chocolate. Are you hungry or DP Dough? Are you hungry for sure? Champs or the basement champs? Winter or summer? This one's tough. I'm gonna go with summer. PlayStation or Xbox? Always with PlayStation. Post route or go route? Post route. And breakfast or dinner? Breakfast.
So he knows the show Friends.
Yeah, that was a little surprising.
Yeah.
Like The Office and Parks and Rec, I thought that might have been after him.
Well, he was wrong about that one.
Yeah,
It's The Office, but that's fine, yeah. But, you know, we can start playing the Friends theme song and get Curtis, Terry, and Jahan together.
Yeah, and then all them, then they'd be their own Chandler, Joey thing. There.
That was interesting. I get for a guy of my generation, I'm looking for Mannix. You know, Man Called Hawk. I'm looking at some of that stuff. I didn't know what it was either, so I kind of like that game. Got to build that game, let an older guy play that one. Yeah.
What do you make of them getting together on their own, practicing before training camp?
I love the camaraderie. I really do. I mean, my preference is that you wear a helmet and pads if you're out throwing, but it's like basketball without taking a shot. Does basketball players get anything out of it? Yeah, they're running, getting conditioned. But I think the closer they become, to me, you win because of closeness, even more so than skill. Closeness.
Yep, and they waited for a contract to get done. First time Terry actually got to work with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I think it's great for a guy like him to kind of get together, those two personalities, meet each other, kind of work out some of those personality differences. I think it's going to be great.
All right, 9 days to go. We'll see you in Ashburn for training camp. And thanks for watching Command Center. For Doc Walker, Logan Paulsen, I'm Bram Weinstein. We'll see you next time.